It is heading to the Senate now after 7 House Democrats broke rank, joining Republicans to pass a sweeping package that includes funding for ICE and DHS. Congressional correspondent Bill Maloogian is live on Capitol Hill. He's got the details for us. Hello, Bill.
Sandra, good morning to you. There were 207 House Democrats who voted against this DHS funding bill last night. They were largely upset about the fact that the bill didn't rein in ICE or defund the agency as they had demanded. But keep in mind, DHS isn't just...
The fight over DHS and ICE funding has officially moved to the Senate after a dramatic vote in the House. 7 House Democrats broke ranks and joined Republicans to pass the funding package, allowing it to clear a major hurdle. While supporters argue the bill is essential to keep DHS agencies running, including FEMA and TSA, most Democrats voted against it, frustrated that the legislation did not restrict or defund ICE. The vote exposed growing divisions inside the Democratic Party, with immigration enforcement becoming a central flashpoint. Now the Senate faces mounting pressure, with some lawmakers signaling they may attempt amendments or delay tactics before allowing a final vote. With funding deadlines approaching and no proxy voting allowed in the Senate,
ICE, it's FEMA and TSA, so it was crucial to get this passed. This is a list of the 7 House Democrats who crossed party lines and voted with Republicans to get this bill passed. The only Republican no vote was Congressman Thomas Massie. The bill now heads to the Senate next week, and we caught up with some of the members after the vote yesterday.
If I were a member of the United States Senate, I would not vote for funding this ICE. I would not vote for funding ICE.
They want open borders. They want anarchy. They're not your granddad's Democrat Party.
In the meantime, many Democrats are now pushing a narrative that ICE arrested a 5-year-old boy named Liam Conejo Ramos in Minneapolis, then used him as bait to arrest other family members. Congresswoman Ayanna Pressley posting, quote, ICE is kidnapping 5-year-olds.
The House vote revealed just how divided Democrats are on immigration enforcement. More than 200 Democrats voted against the DHS funding bill, with several openly stating they would not support any measure that funds ICE. Republicans pushed back, arguing that DHS funding is broader than immigration alone and includes national security, disaster response, and airport safety. Critics of the no vote warned that defunding or weakening DHS could have unintended consequences beyond immigration policy. The split highlights a larger identity struggle within the Democratic Party, as moderates and progressives clash over how far to go in opposing ICE. With the Senate now taking up the bill, those internal disagreements are like...
I need you to look at Liam's sweet face and see your own child. Don't look away. But DHS says those claims are lies. They say the real story is ICE was attempting to arrest Liam's illegal alien father when he ran from agents, then left the little boy completely alone. Vice President J.D. Vance addressed this controversy yesterday.
I'm a father of a 5-year-old, actually, a 5-year-old little boy, and I think to myself, oh my God, this is terrible. How did we arrest a 5-year-old? Well, I do a little bit more follow-up research. And what I find is that the 5-year-old was not arrested, that his dad was an illegal alien, and then when they went to arrest his illegal alien father, the father ran. So the story is that ICE detained a 5-year-old. Well, what are they supposed to do? Are they supposed to let a 5-year-old child freeze to death?
And Sandra, at least one Democrat is now admitting they got the story wrong. Former Minnesota
funding debate escalated after claims spread that ICE arrested a 5-year-old child in Minnesota and used him to lure family members into custody. Some lawmakers and activists described the incident as a kidnapping, urging the public to view it through an emotional lens. DHS strongly denied those accusations, calling them false and misleading. According to officials, ICE agents were attempting to arrest the child's father, who fled the scene and left the child behind. Agents then temporarily detained the child to ensure his safety. DHS says the viral narrative omitted key facts, turning a law enforcement encounter into a political flashpoint that fueled outrage during an...
Minnesota Congressman and presidential candidate Dean Phillips posting on social media in part, quote, since I hate misinformation, I acknowledge the little boy was abandoned by his father who fled ICE agents. Send it back to you.
Got it. Bill Maloogian on the Hill for us. Thank you.
So let's get a taste of things. Shannon Bream, anchor of Fox News Sunday. Shannon, good morning to you. I want to get to a couple of the topics, but just on immigration. It's not going away. The vice president there yesterday, the story of this 5-year-old. How's that playing in Washington, all of this, Shannon?
Yeah, so that lands, all that information. At the same time, the Senate's now got to decide on these House votes that were sent over, and Bill did a great job breaking down, the crossovers and what happened there. We hear from Senator Tim Kaine this morning, and he says we are not voting on these bills. We should not vote on these bills unless we amend them. He's got serious issues. So all of this ICE stuff, immigration, DHS could, factor into the fact that this weather is going to make it difficult for senators to get back here. The Senate doesn't have proxy voting. They've got to actually get here to vote on these funding bills. So now Kane's saying, unless we get amendments, we may not move this thing forward. Democrats do have some power to stop this thing.
All right, Shannon, I want to ask you about this war of words between the California governor, Gavin Newsom, and President Trump. President Trump has been slamming, Gavin Newsom as a lame duck governor of a failing state. Gavin Newsom.
Vice President J.D. Vance addressed the controversy directly, saying he initially reacted with concern after hearing the early reports. However, after reviewing the full details, he argued the story had been misrepresented. Vance explained that ICE agents were faced with a real-world dilemma after the father ran away, leaving a young child alone. He questioned whether critics expected agents to abandon the child under those circumstances. His remarks underscored how emotionally charged headlines can spread faster than verified facts. Following his comments, at least one Democrat publicly acknowledged that the original narrative had been incorrect, highlighting how quickly misinformation can shape public.
Fired right back at him. And it's all happening on the world stage. And even some, unexpectedly, are coming to the defense of President Trump on this. Here's Stephen A. Smith slamming Newsom. Listen.
Say whatever you want here. As a governor from the opposite side of the aisle of a state in the United States on American soil, fine. But I'm one of those people, when we go somewhere else, it's America first. Our problems, are our problems. But we ain't taking dirty laundry outside.
Yeah, I mean, maybe the global stage isn't the right place to have this war of words.
Yeah, and we used to have this, that critique stops at the water's edge, that, when you're overseas, you're not taking shots at the current administration or U.S. policy. But I just don't know that these two can resist going after each other, whatever the stage is. Mark Halperin had very interesting reporting, too. He said, according to him, they actually.
As the funding bill heads to the Senate, immigration politics are colliding with broader political ambitions. At the same time as the DHS debate, a public war of words erupted between President Trump and California Governor Gavin Newsom on the international stage. Some commentators questioned whether those exchanges were performative, designed to capture attention rather than resolve issues. Analysts suggest the clash may benefit both figures politically, especially as speculation grows around the 2028 presidential race. Within the Democratic Party, frustration is building over past messaging mistakes, prompting some leaders to openly critique their own side. With immigration, leadership, and optics all intersecting, the funding fight has become more than a budget issue, it's a preview of the political battles ahead.